Always great to have my next guest on the show. It's Elise Reed, who will be back in action February the 11th at UFC 284 when she meets Loma Lookboonmee. Elise, how are you?
I am great. How are you?
I am good, but I do understand. I want to start right off the bat. There's some congratulations in order because you just signed a new four-fight deal. How exciting is that?
It's pretty exciting. I mean, getting into the UFC is one thing, and staying there is another. So, yeah, I'm stoked. I'm on the hunt now. Let's go.
All right. And not to get into the particulars, but are you pretty happy with the pay? Is it a nice bump up from your first contract?
Yeah, I mean, going from any pro organization to the UFC is a bump as is. But yeah, no, it's even better than before. So we're gonna just keep growing and getting better. That's it.
Fantastic. Now, obviously, I'm sure you want to try and fight and stay active. Are you hoping with this new deal that you want to get as many fights as possible quickly, or are you wanting to get maybe longer camps and just making sure that you're as fully prepared as possible?
I think we're still looking to stay fairly active. My coach and I are going for about another two more in the year. So I want to stay active. I want to continue to get better. I think the experience in the cage is going to count for more than the camp. So until there's numbers next to the person that I'm fighting, I think we're going to stay active, continue to improve the game plan and improve my skill set, and have some fun in the cage.
All right. Well, a lot to get to here today in this interview before we dive into this fight. Again, UFC 284. It's in Australia, February the 11th. It might be the best card of the year. But your last fight was in September. That was at UFC 279. You had a UD win over Melissa Martinez. Assess your overall performance. How happy are you with that?
So she was very active, she moved very well. We kind of knew that we were going to see that because she did a lot of fighting in NASCA and point sparring, and so it was kind of like that, not Taekwondo style, but more point sparring type fighting. I did pretty well. I'm going to pat myself on the back for that one. We got some takedowns in the last round, and most people don't know it because I know that the commentators, I don't talk smack to the commentators, but they always say something and they don't actually know what's going on. So they were saying my knee was messed up because she was kicking me in the leg, which she was. I had a huge bruise for like 3 weeks. But I also partially tore near complete tear of my tendon on my hip. So the middle of the second round, I was injured, and I fought through that and got takedown. So, I did pretty well.
Yeah.
Looking to always improve, but I enjoyed that one. That was a good time, and I got a knockdown, so I'm happy with that.
What does that say to you as far as how far you can dig deep, when you may be compromised? Did you learn something more about yourself?
Absolutely. I mean, the good thing is adrenaline exists, and so I didn't feel very much when it happened. But I think that's the goal of a mixed martial artist. The goal of a fighter is to kind of test your limits and see how far you can go. And unfortunately for the next opponent, I've found out that I have another level. So yeah, no, it was. I brag about it. I'm smiling when I get injured because that's what it is. You know what I mean? I've broken my face and not knowing it, and all that matters is getting the win. So to be able to go through that and come out successful is huge.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And you did it on a massive pay-per-view card. Again, UFC
Yeah.
279. Nate Diaz beat Tony Ferguson. Hamzat Chimaev beat Kevin Holland. I mean, just from, I guess, I mean, because we're all fans of the sport, even though you're an
Oh
actual
yeah.
active fighter, you're still a fan. How cool was that just to be on that card with such big heavyweight names as far as just, their how big they are as far as, in the public?
Yeah, no, it's surreal being on a card with names that are Hall of Famers, to be huge contenders, champions. It's huge. So it the whole time I'm getting ready for my fight, right? I'm trying to keep my head down, stay focused, and then I'm also fangirling a little bit where I'm sitting in the same bus as Kevin Holland, heading over to the arena, and he is funny. He is funny, funny, funny. He made awesome joke. I mean, it's surreal. It really is probably the coolest thing. Like outside of fighting and be able to do what I love, it's meeting the people that I've watched for the last 5 to 10 years, traveling to different places. Yeah, no, I'm having a boatload of fun.
Very cool. Well, nothing but up from here. Now, the last time I did speak to you was actually before you fought Sam Hughes, and that fight didn't go your way. I just wanted to kind of get your take, what you learned from that fight, how you grew from it.
Yeah, no, that was one where, I just didn't show up. There was no excuse. I felt it in the cage. My coach and my team felt it, and it was just literally the worst experience you could ever have in a fight is being mauled for 3 rounds and then not even coming out with a decision loss. So it was one really where after that loss, that next week or week and a half was a struggle. That's where, I had notes on my door from my neighbor telling me how to work on my cardio, and all the trolls were knew me then, right? So it's rough. It's a sport where, when you succeed big, and when you lose big, and going through those highs and lows are something else, really surreal. But that was also a never again. Like, never again in my life will I have an experience like that ever again. I will never put myself in a position where I have a short notice fight, and obviously I'm never going to, which I don't think I did, but I'm never going to take any fight for granted. In point sparring, we have it to where, someone gets a clean shot and you can say, okay, that was good, never again. So it was a loss that, again, you find a different level. And after that fight, right, was Melissa Martinez, where I went through an injury and came out successful. So yeah, no, people were afraid before. This is never again. Yeah, we don't want to see that again. I don't want to experience it again.
I love that answer. How are you handling the trolls? Do you just ignore it?
Yeah. I mean, I have the note that my neighbor left on my apartment door, and I'm gonna frame that at some point and copy it and send it back to him, because that's how I am. I hold grudges just a little bit, but you look on the people that are talking, and a lot of times 90% of them haven't even stepped into a gym, don't even know really what any martial art is other than watching people, maybe casually. So you take it with a grain of salt, and at the end of the day, it's not their journey, it's mine and my team. So nobody else really matters.
Are you cool with this neighbor, or is this just out of the blue? He's giving you advice and maybe giving you a hard time.
Well, so I have moved since then, not because of the neighbor, because I've upgraded a little bit, but we didn't get along. I would say that we were fighting, but he had certain recreational activities that I didn't appreciate, and yeah, he found one. Though of course he was watching me, right? Didn't ever talk to me, didn't ever say hey, good job. But the one time devastating loss, he's like wrote a full page. This is how you get better at cardio. You got to work on your takedown defense. It's like all the stuff that I already knew. And he couldn't run a mile in under 20 minutes. Like it was comical. It was comical. Like, when somebody else is down, he feels good enough to be able to help me out. Yeah.
Some people, you just got to roll your eyes and just keep it moving. You can't help some people. That's for darn sure. I
Yeah.
want to get your take too on this. I'm sure you watched UFC 283. What were your thoughts on the Lauren Murphy non-stoppage? There was some controversy that maybe it should have been stopped. She took a lot of damage. Did you like that not being stopped, just from a fighter's point of view? What was your just overall take on that?
I think as a fighter, you never want it to be stopped. That's just the way it is. But there's also the ref's job to keep it safe. So if I'm out on my feet and I'm trying to just gut it out and swing forward, but I've gotten hit half a dozen times and haven't returned. Kind of like the Chris fight as well with Sugar Sean. Like, you got to look out for the fighter safety as well. So I don't, I can see both sides, but at the end of the day, you know, would she have won anyways? Probably not. So yeah, that's what I say to it. I wouldn't want to be, you know, not being able to speak the alphabet or do basic math after a fight because, you know, I didn't want it to be stopped. So
Yeah. It's
yeah,
it's a tough thing, that's for sure. I mean, even Glover
yeah.
said after his loss to Jamal Hill, I'm too tough for my own good, and you know, hence has retired. But yeah, it's a fine line. I appreciate you diving into that a little bit. Tell me, how has camp been? Obviously, life is good. It's got this new 4-fight deal. You moved, you upgraded, you got away from the drama neighbors. How has camp been for you thus far?
It's great. It's great. I've definitely pushed my limits a little bit. The getting back, you know, immediately after the fight, the last fight I had military duty, and then I had the MRI, and then I realized I was injured, and so it's been physical therapy. It's been, you know, working on my striking, on my ground game. So it's very jam packed, which I like because it makes the entire camp 100% focused on, you know, the fight. So I am stoked. I am so ready for this one. I don't quite like that I'll have to wake up at like 4:30 in the morning to get on a card that starts at 6 a.m. in Australia. But no, camp's been great, and I've made tremendous improvements, and I really love the matchup, and I'm looking forward to this one.
When are you going to start to kind of tweak your sleeping patterns to get in that right time zone?
So I'm gonna reach out to my strength and conditioning coach so that he can give me a little bit of guidance as well. But theoretically, if I am fighting at 6 a.m. there, it's really 6 a.m. here. So the change isn't so much. It's going to be probably going to bed a little earlier in Australia and waking up much earlier than normal, and just getting to that rhythm where I wake up and it's dark outside. I think that's going to be the hardest thing. But, you know, it is Australia, so I can't quite complain too much.
When do you actually leave?
So I leave Thursday and I get in Saturday. We're getting in a little earlier just to make sure that I get used to the time difference, that the weight cut's not an issue. Not that it ever has been, but it's like a 30-hour flight, so, or 30-hour time for travel. So we haven't quite done that and fought yet.
So when you say
But
Thursday, is that tomorrow or next Thursday?
oh no, next Thursday. Yeah, the second we'll get in the 4th, and then I think fight week technically starts on the 7th.
All right. And you told me before we started the interview, you've never been to Australia. Are you hoping to do any sightseeing or do anything specific when you're not actually getting ready for this fight?
Yeah, so, you know, my coach can kind of vacation a little bit while we're over there before the fight. I can't quite do that. I don't have the ability to turn it off. So we're staying there for an extra 6 or 7 days, and my mom is the best planner. She's coming over there with me too. So she's got an Airbnb. We're gonna see kangaroos. We're gonna see koalas. We're definitely going to take advantage of the opportunity to be in Australia and sightsee a little bit, but it's going to be after the fight. So before the fight, we're going to be, you know, focused on that date, and then after, I'll be able to put my feet up and walk to the beach, and it's going to be pretty cool, especially since it's like snowing right now in New Jersey. So I don't mind the 85-degree, you know, mid-winter break here.
Yeah, I'm a little jealous. I'm just a little further north than you, so I feel your pain. It's freezing here today. Give me a couple of title picks. Obviously, you got the lightweight title, Makhachev, Volkanovski, and then featherweight, Yair and Emmett. Who do you see winning those fights?
I think Yair wins versus Emmett, and I want Volk to win. I don't know if he can do it, but if I'm gonna put a pick, it's gonna be Volk. I really like him. Not that I don't obviously believe that Makhachev can make it happen. He's obviously proven his worth against one of the best, arguably in the UFC at this point. But but yeah, I want both. I'm always rooting for the underdog. I mean, you look at the odds right now against me, I'm like a plus 250. Put in your money now. I'm always for the underdog. So I want both to take it. I think that would be huge if he came away with it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. I definitely want Volk to win. I'm just intrigued to see what happens in that matchup stylistically.
Yeah. I think he's saying that it's going to be a stand-up striking, and there's a huge height difference between them, and I assume reach advantage as well. So that's like me fighting Jasmine. It's like you want to strike, but it's not the smartest decision.
Sure.
So yeah, I'm excited for that one. We'll see how he does it.
Yeah, I can't wait for it. Let's talk about your matchup, Loma Lookboonmee. She's 7-3. She's 4-2 in the UFC, and she actually has a UD win over Sam Hughes. So I'm sure you've been able to kind of dissect that tape and learn some stuff there. How do you like this matchup for yourself, Elise? Obviously, you said you've grown a lot. What do you anticipate is going to happen here in this fight?
I think she's going to march forward. I think it's going to be really hard for her not to march forward. I think that's what she normally does. I think that's what a very high level Muay Thai striker does. And I think it's going to be a brawl for a little bit, and it's going to be what movement wins. I mean, obviously she has really powerful techniques. She can throw techniques really fast, but the movement, I'm a little bit better at lateral movement and footwork in terms of staying light. So I think it's going to be which game plan works. You know what I mean? If she can get me to the cage and corner me and I just stay there, then it's going to be her day. I'm not planning on that happening. I'm going to use my lateral movement and try to mess her timing up a little bit. But I think that's what it's going to be. It's going to be timing. That's going to be the what determines who wins this fight is who can put their timing together faster and take advantage of their skill set.
If you get this win and you beat Loma, since you lost to Sam Hughes and she beat Sam Hughes, is it almost like you're getting that fight back?
Yeah. No, listen, much respect to Sam Hughes. It was her day that day. She definitely, put me on display for everybody to see, but like I said, never again. So not that I'm holding a grudge against her. But I'm not going to put myself in that type of position, and I'm gonna definitely beat the people that beat her. So it's all good.
So for all the bettors out there, I know you're an active UFC fighter. You can't bet. That's a big no-no, right?
No.
But just let people know your official prediction, how you see this fight ending.
So I always say a finish, and I never get it. I know it's going to happen. I still think it's going to be a finish. I think it's going to be a second round finish. And if it's not the second, it'll definitely be a third. I don't think. I mean, listen. As much as I may not be the I haven't have an undefeated record, I also go in all guns blazing. So if there's a finish available, it's going to happen. And I think I'm putting a lot of things together in fight camp that will make that easier and showcase it a little bit more. So I'm going to say second round. I'm going to stick to my guns. At some point, someone's going to make big money betting on a second round finish.
I love it. Well, I can't wait to see you back in there, Elise. Again, February the 11th, UFC 284, quite possibly the best UFC pay-per-view card of the year. And Elise is taking on Loma Lookboonmee. Always great talking to you. I appreciate your time. Before we do sign off, I want to give you the floor. Please tell people where they can follow you on social media. If you have anyone to thank, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Ryan. Yeah, so Elise Reed MMA, officially verified, so like I'm a cool person now. But that's my Instagram and Twitter. Kickside Martial Arts, Carnicella MMA has also been helping out huge, and First Attachment is a supplement company that's helped me out get my nutrition together. So those are the three. Obviously, my coaches and corners are there, but yeah, we are ready to go.